What do a sweet kindergarten teacher, a washed up musician, and a fucked up children's show host have in common? They're all the last line of defense between a kindergarten class and a horde of zombies in this 2019 Hulu original zombie rom com that frankly deserves a whole lot more attention: Little Monsters. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And I'm Austin Johnson.
And this is Filmgazm. Happy Wednesday, listeners. Welcome to the Filmgazm podcast. This is Connor and Austin with you once again to shine a light on a horror gem that should be far more well-known than it is. I love a good horror comedy, and Little Monsters is absolutely hilarious and fun. This will be our 95th episode, with our 100th well on its way. I'll give you a hint about the subject. It's going to be a Weird Shit Wednesday, which is an intense deep dive into a franchise or a filmmaker's career. We haven't done one in a while, since before the pandemic, and we felt that for our 100th, we should go big or go home. It's a director, and it's a celebrated director known for very weird shit. We'll dig into his filmography, specifically on one of his creations that has since become a staple of 90s pop culture. So stick around for that.
I'll get the coffee.
Oh boy. If you're a celebrated horror fan, you know exactly who we're fucking talking about. So look forward to that on the 100th episode in a few weeks. So we got one update for you on the rewind, and it updates episode 24, Jaws. There is a fundraiser in the works to finance a documentary called Return of the Orca. The plan behind the documentary is to rebuild Quint's famous fishing vessel, the Orca, in the hopes of promoting ocean welfare and endangered species conservation. One of the partners is Wendy Benchley, widow of Jaws author Peter Benchley. So they're trying to rebuild a replica of the Orca and use it to promote ocean safety and save some endangered species. I find that very admirable.
Right on. Hell yeah.
A couple people from the production are involved, some technical guys and Wendy Benchley, and a lot of fans. So, yeah, donate to that. That's fantastic.
I love it.
Awesome. So I first heard of Little Monsters when website contributor Caleb Leger reviewed the film back in February of this year. I didn't think much of it for a number of reasons. One, I've never really been impressed by Hulu's original movies. And two, I thought it sounded goofy. When we drew it from the book, I was apprehensive, but it's ended up being one of my favorite movies that I've discovered through this podcast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is my first time as well. And my older brother kind of pushed it on me, like pretty heavy, saying, hey, this is something that Hulu put out. And I was like you, kind of like, oh, whatever. I'll get to it, I guess, someday. Boy, were we wrong. This is a great movie that just kind of pops like a firecracker throughout, with all different kinds of genres melting.
Yeah.
Awesome music. And then two great performances kind of like at the center. So yeah, I had a great time. And then we have like an evil Olaf, so that's good. We'll talk about that shortly. Yeah, I had a good time. I'm really glad we picked this one from the book. It just, again, the book knows recently we had As Above, So Below. And here's Little Monsters. Sometimes we just get reminded of there's good shit out there. You just, you got to keep your eyes open.
It's fantastic. This book thing ended up being just such a great thing for the show. It's really kept things kind of loosey-goosey and unpredictable. And
yes,
we get to discover so many movies we never even would have considered for the show. And yeah, this is definitely one of the better ones. If for those of you who've seen Shaun of the Dead, I would put this in the same vein. It's basically Shaun of the Dead with a kindergarten class involved. And
yeah,
it's just so sweet and endearing and quirky and charming and Australian, and it's wonderful. It's really it's a love story at its core, and then like on the outside of that is a zombie movie. It's really smart. It's tough to do a horror comedy in the right way. It gets fucked up really, really easily. So when you manage to craft a good one, it really is special.
Yeah, no question. When I love that when you say like super Australian, it is. It's a certain dryness and awareness of timing, of comedic timing, and we see this a lot in foreign countries. It's just not as popular here in the United States. That kind of it's beginning to get more popular. I think it has to, just because comedy gets more and more tough as time goes on. That's why a gym like this that does it so well, because of its timing. I was cracking up the first few minutes, man. You're just hearing kind of constant, "Oh, fuck off," and yelling, and you can't hear people over each other. It's brilliant.
Yeah. What you were saying in relation to kind of a foreign comedic timing, there's a line from Blackadder that I think defines that perfectly. So Blackadder was obviously, it was in Blackadder the Second, and somebody was being very cheeky and asked Edmund, "You've really worked out your banter, haven't you?" And Blackadder responded, "No, not really. This is a different thing. It's spontaneous, and it's called wit."
Yes.
And that's what I think British and Australian humor is really at its core, is just wit. And it's brilliant, and I love it. It's hilarious. And this film is witty as hell.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, love when I can bring Blackadder into the conversation.
Yeah, that's such a great call.
Little Monsters was written and directed by Abe Forsyth, who is currently scheduled to be helming RoboCop Returns, a sequel/reboot of RoboCop that will continue from the first film and ignore the sequels, just like the recent Halloween. So that could be neat.
Yeah, especially after something like this, right? You want to see, hey, what else can you do? Here's a nice project.
Yeah. Some of his other films include Navin Wants to Be a Superhero, Ned, and Down Under. So he's a up-and-coming Australian director, and this is a big win for him, Little Monsters. Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o stars as Miss Caroline, the most dedicated kindergarten teacher in Australia. Nyong'o won her first Oscar for her performance in 2013's 12 Years a Slave. In addition, she has appeared in such films as Black Panther, Us, Queen of Katwe, The Jungle Book, and Star Wars The Force Awakens as Maz Kanata. And we talked about her in our 4th episode, Us. Long time ago.
Yeah, what a year for Lupita to be in Us and Little Monsters. And we talk. I still stand by my opinion on Us. I think it's a little incoherent.
Yeah,
but it is a gorgeous film with some pretty cool scares and an awesome Lupita Nyong'o performance.
Yeah, she's easily the best thing about that.
She doesn't really ever give you, when she brings stuff to the table, it's always good. Black Panther, Nakia, come on, she's a legend. 12 Years a Slave as Patsy. Just awesome career, and I cannot wait to see what she does next. She's one of those people now that you see Little Monsters, Us, and these different kinds of films. She's able to tackle these different characters. I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, and she kind of came out of nowhere, won an Oscar, and then became an A-lister like immediately. And she's just starting, really. And I think she's going to have a very long and exciting career. Awesome. Alexander England plays Dave, a foul-mouthed, washed-up musician who falls for Miss Caroline and ends up helping her protect the kids. England has also appeared in such films as Gods of Egypt, Down Under, and Alien Covenant. And he is hysterical. Dave is such a piece of shit for most of the movie. But he's this, like I said, it's witty. He's endearing. You like him because he's quick.
Yeah, he's always able to talk. He has a comeback, always ready. I love when he's at the beginning of the film, when you kind of realize, what his wit is.
Yeah.
He's like, he finds his spoiler alert. He finds his ex-girlfriend or girlfriend, whatever, cheating on him or whatever it may be. And he's like, "I'm Dave, her boyfriend of 9 fucking years." and the guy says, "Watch the language in front of the kid." And he's like, "I'm not a kid, I'm Darth Vader." Genius. It tells you exactly what you're about to see. But like you said, he has a nice little journey.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's cool to see Dave There's some poignant moments in here, like when he calls his sister and says, I never thanked you for raising me. Like it's very touching. And he has this, that perfect blend of funny and dramatic that really works in this movie.
Yeah.
Then we have Josh Gad, who plays disgusting kids TV entertainer Teddy McGiggle, who secretly hates kids and loves to fuck their moms.
Yeah, this would be evil Olaf.
Gad has achieved mainstream success pretty fast over the past few years, appearing in such films as Frozen, Murder on the Orient Express, Artemis Fowl, Pixels, and Beauty and the Beast, among others. And this was the film that finally made me like the guy.
No kidding. A string of films I don't give a shit about. Yeah.
Fair enough.
This is definitely my favorite Josh Gad role.
We have kids in here. Oh, I don't give a shit. Just the worst possible human being you can be is this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've Frozen. That's a big popular movie, and Olaf is this lovable guy, and he really is evil Olaf. You're like, if that's polar opposite, that's what we got here in Little Monsters.
Absolutely. Little Monsters has an IMDb score of 6.3 and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 80%.
Better.
User score of 100%. So that's pretty sweet. It debuted on Hulu as a Hulu original film on October 11th, 2019. And I don't think there's any way of knowing if it was a hit or not, but I hope it was.
From what I know, as far as the community of people I talk to about movies, no, it's not a hit, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. I'm not, obviously right now we're not out and about talking to people. I just feel like it didn't have that wave of conversation like what's another movie that came out on streaming service? Obviously Defy Bloods is a way different story because of Spike Lee, but I never felt like there was a huge conversation
like Bird Box.
There you go. Yeah, Bird Box. Yeah,
everyone was talking about Bird Box. Nobody was talking about Little Monsters.
Is that already a couple years old? I don't even remember when that came out.
That was 2018.
Netflix. Yeah, crazy. And Little Monsters coming out in 2019. Yeah, I just don't remember that conversation happening. I don't know.
No, I had never heard of it until Caleb reviewed it, and I looked into it and was like, nah, no. And, yeah.
What did he give it? What score?
He gave it an 8. He liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Caleb, I don't mean to speak ill of a friend, but he loves pretty much every horror movie he comes across. Like, there's very few horror films where he's like, that was shit. So I have a hard time believing his 8s when it comes to horror movies. I'm sorry, Caleb. I love you, man, but yeah.
He loves horror.
He does, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all love horror, but there are bad horror movies, buddy. There are a lot of them.
Yeah, I love horror like I love rap, but there's some shit out there.
Yeah. Well, I feel like as a horror fan, I feel like a prospector panning for gold. Like, I know I'm going to get rocks most of the time, but I'm doing this because I'm waiting for that one little nugget, that one little piece of gold where I'm like, Eureka, this is a great movie. That's what I'm doing.
There you go.
And this is a gold nugget. That's what this is.
Yes.
And let's get into the plot of this thing.
Let's do it.
So we open with a great montage of Dave and his girlfriend's just consistent arguments.
Yes.
Every day, every minute of every day about all sorts of shit.
One of my favorite ways to open up any kind of comedy is just like not even arguing. They're like screaming, saying horrible, nasty things at each other, just digging at each other. For whatever reason, it's just really entertaining, to watch two people just go at each other. Yeah.
My favorite bits are when they're doing it like in a restaurant with friends there at the table, just screaming at each other, and everyone's just looking at each other like, oh God.
Yeah. At the dinner party. Yeah.
And mostly it's about Dave does not want kids at all. He fucking hates kids. And he's also, he says he's in a band, but they broke up 6 years ago. He's got no direction. He's an idiot, and he's pretty useless. So she's constantly wondering, like, why the fuck am I with you? And eventually she realizes, yeah, why am I with him? And they break up. And Dave ends up sleeping at his sister's house with her son, Felix, who is like allergic to everything. He's a very weak child.
Yeah.
And they
frail.
Frail as hell. And they're making they make mini pizzas, and it's like vegan, like gluten-free tofu pizza. And Dave's just like, what the fuck is this? I'm going to Domino's to get a proper pizza.
Oh man,
I love his proper pizzas. Domino's. I fucking hate Domino's. So he, I love Felix wakes him up in like late afternoon. What does he say? Like, aren't you in school? And he's like, school's gone. I don't know. School happened. Like, what time?
School happened.
They're playing Call of Duty, and Mom is like, what is that? Oh my God. And he's like, it's not real.
It's not real.
And she says, like, if you're gonna do this shit, you can't stay here. And he looks like he's about to leave, and then he starts crying. And she's like, okay, all right, fine, just don't fuck up my kid. And at some point in there, Dave has the awesome idea to use Felix to try to win back his girlfriend. And he takes the Domino's pizza box, writes down, will you marry me? And takes Felix to his ex-girlfriend's house dressed as Darth Vader. And what he finds is, what is the girlfriend's name? I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's not listed right here.
1 second. I need to find her name. It's gonna bother me.
You going on IMDb here?
Yeah. Don't you love these organic, unscripted moments of a podcast? Isn't it just beautiful?
I for one feel like IMDb is getting a lot of, free advertisement here.
Yeah, exactly.
Where, using IMDb for plot synopsis, and looking up actors' filmographies, and that's what we're doing here. What do we got?
Sarah is her name. Sarah. And Sarah is fucking a real estate agent who's like is old enough to be your dad. And
yes.
Dave catches her. But the way he catches her is Felix walks in there and says some Darth Vader shit. And she's like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, what the fuck is this? And it's so awkward and hilarious. And Felix is there the whole time in character trying to force choke people. It's so awkward and funny.
I love it.
And Dave is like, look what you're missing out on, because you will never see this sweet ass again. Like, he is very much like you're gonna, like, your loss. And I mean,
have a nice life.
Yeah. I love written on a pizza box in marker, will you marry me? It's so fucking good. It's so great.
With a little Darth Vader.
It's so trashy.
So good.
So now Dave is just despondent and pissed, and that's when Mom Tess is upset that he just took her kid out. So in order to make amends with Tess, he agrees to drop Felix off at school. And when he does, he meets Miss Caroline, Felix's kindergarten teacher, and he's immediately smitten. And I love he tries to impress her by like just lying through his teeth about fucking everything. I'm a Christian too.
Yeah.
I love when he tells Felix to have a good day and he screams his name across the room. And all the kids just quiet down immediately.
Felix,
have a good day,
matey.
Jesus. Oh
yeah. There's some moments at the beginning, the first 10-15 minutes where you're like, you can't. It's hard to keep up because you're laughing so much. My stomach was hurting last night, man, when I watched this. It is. It's kind of like a shocker. Yeah, it shocks your senses that first begin because of Dave, because he's all over the place And because of those antics with the cardboard, "Will you marry me?" with a little Darth Vader, it's so good.
It's great. And a parent drops out of an upcoming field trip, and Dave volunteers to chaperone, mostly just so he can get close to Miss Caroline.
Yes. Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't? And
isn't she? Yeah, she's like she's one of those gorgeous women working right now, and oozing with talent. I adore her. She's so, you believe everything she does on the screen, right? She convinces you every time, no matter what the role is.
She's only 37 years old. She's got an Oscar.
Yeah, and potential for so many more. Yeah,
wonderful. So they go on the field trip. They're going to this Pleasant Valley Farms, kind of a petting zoo type thing, and Dave's there, and he's not really paying attention. They start singing Taylor Swift on the bus. Miss Caroline plays Taylor Swift on her ukulele to
shake it off.
Shake it off. And so I don't remember how it happens, but somebody, I think Miss Caroline points out that Dave was in a band. Could he sing us a song? And he's like,
"Oh God."
All right. Yeah. And he breaks out the thrash guitar and starts singing about how like everything is, depressing and life is fucked up and everyone's going to die. And she's like, "It's a bit heavy, mate."
Yeah.
God damn. All the kids are like, "Oh," like just
whoa,
wide-eyed, like, what do we do?
but a couple of those kids are gonna like grow up and be like, "I fucking love prog rock." Yeah. That was like a life altering experience for them. And I love when the guy comes in on the bus and next stop Pleasant Valley.
Oh my God.
Genius.
So while this is happening on their way to Pleasant Valley, we go to a U.S. Army testing site where something has happened and the soldiers are there to investigate. And what's happened is a zombie virus has broken out of containment and infected the entire base. And now they are coming out of Pleasant Valley. And I love how fucking lazy the zombie part is. It's so just perfectly what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's just a great trope, U.S. Army base. It's 28 days later. It's the stand. It's just like, fuck it. All right, here's some zombies. I think it really works in this film's favor. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's hard because I think sometimes I contradict myself with like, but it's awareness, right? It's when a film is aware of what it's doing, and like you said, it's not like spoon feeding you like, look at this, like we're gonna bring in this crazy other plot line. No, it's just like zombies. Fuck it 20 30 minutes in, fuck it, we're gonna throw zombies in and we're just gonna make the movie weird. But don't worry, there's still gonna be awesome music and weird pop songs from Taylor Swift.
I love that they didn't bother to make it like, an Australian government base. It's a U.S. Army base.
Yeah.
Of course it would be our fucking fault that zombies escaped into Australia.
Yes, a testing facility. Yeah, perfect. I actually love all that stuff. I think it's something that, like, the actual building, like the location of the testing facility, is like funny to me. Because you see so many movies where it has that shot where it's like boom boom, and you see like it's supposed to be really serious, like possible movie, and
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love when a movie's self-aware, and I think Little Monsters is kind of filled with those moments, and that was one of my favorites.
Well, zombies have been done to death at this point. It's very tough to do an original zombie movie. So the best way you can do that is embrace it and know we're a zombie movie. Let's have fun with it. And yeah, you get a movie like this. It's great.
Yeah.
So the zombies
Incredible.
break out of the testing facility and they overrun Pleasant Valley Farms pretty damn fast. And when they get there, they learn that Teddy McGiggle, beloved children's television personality, is filming at Pleasant Valley Farms. And he's got his Frogsy hand puppet guy. He does this weird dance. He hits on Miss Caroline in front of all the kids. So messed up.
Yeah, and that damn suit he's wearing, it reminded me, the name and all of that. Have you seen Max Keeble's Big Move?
I have not. No.
Well, there's a character there, McGoogles. McGoogles is me name. And it's one of the bully characters is scared of him, but he looks a lot like that character. And in Max Keeble, the guy's dressed up as a frog. And this is he looks like a frog in that suit. It is so absurd. When I first saw him, I was like, is that Josh fucking Gad? Like, what? What is happening here? I love it though. I love when a movie kind of flips it upside down. So it's great.
He reminded me a lot. I don't know why, but the first thing that popped in my head was the drunk clown from Uncle Buck.
Oh, nice. Love Uncle Buck.
Like, you don't know who I am. I'm the most expensive clown in this town. I have pull in this clown, pal. And Buck just knocks his ass out.
God,
you're not coming in here in front of the kids, pal. Yeah, it gave off that vibe of just like sleazy kids, sleazy kids guy. And boy, were we right.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're having a tractor ride. Dave is kind of just like trying to figure out a way to talk to Miss Caroline. It's not going really well. And zombies start showing up. They attack this family of Asian tourists. And on the tractor ride, they're trying to see some sheep, and there's no sheep. So the guide gets off the tractor to find the sheep, and she finds a bunch of zombies eating the sheep, and they jump her, and they eat her, and she turns into a zombie, and she's still got the intercom thing on, so she's like, "Rah!" over the intercom. And that made me laugh. And Miss Caroline jumps into action pretty damn quickly. Like, starts stabbing people with the pitchfork. Like, nobody gets in the way of her. Like, nobody tries to attack her kids. I love it. And she's like, all right, it's a game. You ever play tag? Do not let the players touch you. And Dave...
The players.
Yeah, Dave tries to drive the tractor, and his nephew's like, no, you got to put the parking brake out, because he's obsessed with tractors, so he knows everything about tractors.
Yes.
And they're driving away, and they drive up to the gift shop. They try to get to the bus, but it's overrun. And they get to the gift shop and find Teddy McGiggle is locked in and is not letting them in. Just like, fuck you. He flips him off. He's like, nah, not gonna happen. And Dave's like, you asshole. And he climbs up to the roof and jumps like in the window up there and falls down into the gift shop, and Teddy McGill starts kicking his ass. So weird. But Dave overpowers him, opens the door, lets all the kids in, and Teddy is just pissed and angry and scared and constantly screaming obscenities at these kids. It's pretty fucking awful, but it's great. Dave gives Felix some chips. Felix has an allergic reaction, and Dave fucks up the EpiPen. And Miss Caroline's like, you can't reinsert it. You got to get a new one. He's so ill-equipped for this. And Felix's throat is closing up. He's having an allergic reaction to the dairy. And so Miss Caroline has to go get the backup, which is in the tractor, in all the backpacks. So she, like a fucking boss, gets out of it was awesome. She goes out and she gets the backpack and makes it back as Teddy is trying to signal a military helicopter, because the Army's aware of this, and their solution is, well, we better nuke it. Make sure these things don't get out. Of course. Teddy falls off the roof. At that point, I was like, oh, okay, they're going to eat Josh Gad. And yeah. I was actually really surprised that he got away. Dave saved his life.
Me too.
And this is my favorite moment in the movie. Dave and Teddy are talking, and Teddy's confessing that he only got into show business for the moms, that he's fucked so many moms. Doesn't matter anymore. That's all that's keeping him going. It's the only thing that's keeping him from putting a bullet in his mouth. It's fucking the moms.
Yeah, I'm an addict.
And he says,
Evil Olaf is obsessed with MILFs.
he says, Teddy McGiggle's not even my real name. It's Nathan. And Dave goes, yeah, Nathan McGiggle. He's like, no, you idiot. When Dave said Nathan McGiggle, I had to pause it. I was laughing so fucking hard.
No, you idiot. God, this movie.
Oh,
fucking hilarious.
It's so great. And it never goes in the directions you kind of think it's going to go in. I appreciate that. So that night, Teddy and the kids are asleep after Miss Caroline threatened Teddy and said, like, if he scares the children, she's going to fuck him up. Like, just tries to stab him. And he's like, okay, I won't say anything. It's a game, kids. He's like, do the voice. He's like,
I'm Teddy McGiggle. Oh my God.
He's
so
looking
absurd.
He's looking through the cleaning supplies to find something to drink and keep himself, like, keep the edge off. And he starts drinking like fucking ethanol. It's like, it's fucking crazy. So that night, watching over the kids, they get the EpiPen into Felix, and he's fine. And Dave and Miss Caroline start talking, and they're realizing, like, shit, are we gonna make it out of this? They don't know. I mean, not only do they have to escape, they got to protect all these kids. And Miss Caroline starts saying, she explains where she came from. She ran away from home. She got arrested. She did so many drugs. She followed Hanson. That was hilarious. Like, fucking Hanson. That's the band you gave up your life for.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
like,
Well, I wouldn't want it to be someone really good. Yeah.
She's like, I would have let them do anything to me. He's like, Bob Hanson, those guys. He admits that
those guys.
He admits that his band broke up 6 years ago, and he's the last holdout. And his girlfriend and him broke up because he didn't want kids, and he's afraid to be a dad because his dad was a piece of shit. And Miss Caroline admits that her fiance and her broke up years ago, and she only wears the ring so the other dads won't hit on her. He's in his mind, he's like, oh, light bulb, so she's single. And
so you're saying there's a chance?
Yes.
Yeah. What if he would have shot you in the face? That's a risk we were willing to take.
Harry, you're alive, and you're a horrible shot. This is like the 5th time this Dumb and Dumber is just gonna pop into the conversation. I fucking love it. Oh my God.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
So Miss Caroline admits, like, she loves Neil Diamond, and he loves Neil Diamond, because earlier Dave had done saying Miss Caroline to the tune of Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline. It was a very cute moment to keep all the kids together. So she loves Neil Diamond too. So they're bonding. And the big thing that you're supposed to take away from this is Dave's father left, and his mom went nuts, and his sister was the only one who was there for him. So this is why Dave is very distrusting of people. It's why he is so angry about everything. So we get a little bit of insight into him, and I like that. The next day, the military starts planning their strategy to bomb the gift shop, because that's where all the zombies are congregated. And the survivors decide that it's time to get out. So their plan is to sneak out through the roof, cause one person will cause a distraction, somebody else will go get the tractor. And Teddy McGiggle's like, fuck that, we're all going to die if we do that. We need the McGigglemobile. And Dave's like, what's the McGigglemobile? He's like, it's the big red car over there, you moron. I go get it, I'll bring it back, and we'll get everyone in. So Dave causes a distraction so Teddy can go get the McGigglemobile. Teddy gets in, and immediately betrays them and is like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here. And Dave's like, you motherfucker. And then we see Frogsy, the hand puppet, come out from behind the in the back seat and just rips Teddy McGiggle apart. And it's satisfying because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and you're waiting. Who's it going to be that's going to be able to take this guy down?
Let's take a moment to talk about the gore factor of this movie. Really well, like really good. There's some brutal deaths in this movie.
Right. Yeah, and you this is the kind of stuff that I think you and I initially, you texted me, oh my God, Little Monsters is great, and when I watched it, I felt the exact same way. And you have that initial wave of how do they miss this when it has such good laughs, such good makeup, the blood, the actual action, the makeup on the zombies, all that stuff hits. It really, with a few more watches, like this movie could keep elevating, on my likability of it. And that has a lot to do with it, right? The authenticity of the gore with the zombies is it has to be there for me to like a zombie film.
Yeah, absolutely. You need good, you got to have good zombies if you're going to do this kind of thing.
Otherwise, yeah, we've talked about 28 Days Later on this podcast.
Yeah.
A movie that you and I both feel, I think, similarly about. Maybe that is a good example. Is World War Z. Shit zombies.
Shit zombies, absolutely.
Shit zombies, and it makes the movie not rewatchable. So
World War Z is one of the weakest zombie movies ever made. They don't even fucking try. It's just a horde of CGI. There's no heart in it. Good zombies are, extras covered in dead makeup and just blood and guts as far as the eye can see. That's what works every time. And
makeup.
Yeah. Is 28 Days Later the only other zombie movie we've done? I think it is.
Purebred zombie. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
If we're forgetting one, we apologize, listeners. We've done a lot of these.
This is number 95.
95.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dave gets on top of the McGiggle mobile and is now surrounded by zombies, including Frogsy coming up from the top hatch. And he doesn't really know what to do. He's trapped. Felix steps up and goes to save his uncle from what I assume they all still think is a very elaborate game of tag.
Yeah. Super intense game of tag. A traumatic game of tag.
They're all like, I don't want to play anymore. And then there's that one kid who's like, when are we going to play putt-putt golf? Fuck that kid. My God. Again, a couple of these kids are going to grow up thinking like, man, when can I get back into that kind of tag, How do I find that ultimate tag again? I was really expecting at the end, like somewhere, Miss Caroline was going to slap that kid. I was really hoping. Like he was going to break her and she was going to be like, shut the fuck up. But no, she's stronger than that. So Felix puts on the Darth Vader costume and starts running through the farm to get to the tractor. And he's like force choking zombies. He's like, pew, 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 pew. He doesn't realize how serious this is. And it's so cute. He saves a lamb and he gets to the tractor and he saves Dave. But first Dave calls Tess and confesses that he loves her and he's grateful for for her being there for him. And then he loses his phone in the zombies. Dave and Felix get the tractor. They get all the way over to the kids. They load everybody up and they start driving to safety and they escape. And Miss Caroline's playing music to keep the kids' mind off of all this shit. And the zombies are responding to the music. And like they're cheering and they're swaying and it's funny. They reach the military and the military is like, they're going to shoot them at first. They're like, fuck it. It's just two people. And then the general hears kids and he's like, I can't shoot kids again.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Again. Jesus.
Let them through. And they let him through. And Dave and Miss Caroline try to say like, hey, they respond to commands. And they're just like, open fire. And they just mow them down. No chance at all. I love that went nowhere. They're like, just fuck it. Mow them down. Miss Caroline and Dave kiss. It's nice. And the government takes them away and puts them into quarantine. And the parents are all talking to the general, like, what the fuck? Like, where are my kids? And you're like, all your kids are fine. Apparently they have 2 awesome teachers. They're like, the school only has 1 teacher, Miss Caroline. She's like, no, we mean Miss Caroline and David Anderson. He's a real great teacher. And everyone's like, who the hell is that? She's like, that's my brother. And it's very, it's nice.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's a sweet moment.
Yeah. And then they ask, like, well, how long are they going to be in quarantine? 48 hours. Like, are they going to be miserable? Like, I don't think so. And then we pan over to the quarantine, and Dave and Miss Caroline are singing Shake It Off to the kids, and everyone's just having a good time. It's a very sweet ending. It's a very sweet movie.
I never thought I would appreciate a Taylor Swift needle drop in a movie, but I did. I did.
I know, right? It's weird. I don't give a fuck about Tay-Tay, but I love the way this song was used in the movie.
Yes.
And speaking of Tay-Tay, I've got one Filmgazm fact for you guys. Originally, the producers were not able to get the rights to use Taylor Swift's Shake It Off in the film because the record label denied them. Lupita Nyong'o, being a big fan of the song, saw it as pivotal to the movie, led her to personally get in touch with Taylor Swift and explain her case, explain why the song was important to her and to the movie, and Taylor Swift granted her the rights. She's like, yeah, okay. I love that. The record label was like, no. And Taylor Swift was like, sure. Sometimes, you just got to appeal to the human side of these people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you get Lupita to call up, hey, a personal call to Taylor Swift, right? That's what it takes. You got to know people, obviously. And those are 2 powerhouse women making a connection that makes this movie have a really sweet moment. It's awesome.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I like to think that after this movie, Dave followed Miss Caroline's path and cleaned himself up and became a teacher. I bet he did.
Yeah. Yeah. Little Monsters 2, if that ever happened, yeah, that's certainly what it would be. It'd be about his class of little monsters, yeah.
I wouldn't say no. I'd like to see more of this world. I like this movie a lot.
Just, keep evil Olaf away. Yeah.
Oh, he's dead. He's very dead.
I hope that's true. I hope we don't have a Michael Myers type situation. Yeah.
If anything, it would be like a twin brother, Timmy.
Oh God, that might be worse.
I give Little Monsters a 9. It's delightful, hilarious, gory, and wildly entertaining. It's a fantastic horror comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I also give it a 9. I find it to be like an underdog, raised up. Here I might be a little biased. I love when a film does this to me. Yeah. That I feel as though I completely missed, and I consider myself, and I know you do, and I'm sure some of our listeners consider themselves film buffs, but you just can't get to everything. But I am upset with myself that this wasn't one of the ones I got to in 2019, because it is a gem. Check it out on Hulu. It'll be there forever. Good stuff, man. Yeah, I'm really glad the book gave us another one of these.
The book knows all.
Yes, sir.
Fucking Lily. And that takes us into the spotlight, where we talk about some of the films we've been watching outside the show. So what have you got for us this week?
Yeah, I've been watching different kinds of stuff. Obviously we have our Oscar Sunday show where we're diving into different films that have been nominated in the past, and we're doing a Dead Poet Society. So we've been diving into 1989, right? And there's a film that you and I text each other back and forth about. And so I'm going to bring up an interesting spotlight, and that would be Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Driving Miss Daisy, the film that won that year, right? Watch it for yourself, I guess, if you want, but it's a kind of a piece of garbage. And I couldn't, this time around, I've seen it a few years back, and I couldn't stand it. And then I rewatched it now just to kind of talk about it amongst Do the Right Thing and My Left Foot and Dead Poet Society for 1989. And I honestly, I couldn't get through it. I didn't want to finish it. I thought it was, I thought it was even worse this time around. I know you watched it for the first time,
Yes.
So I wanted you to be able to open up and kind of speak about it being 2020 and that movie winning, 30 years ago. How did you feel about it, being a 25-year-old dude in 2020 who just watched this ridiculous movie?
I felt offended on behalf of film buffs everywhere. I couldn't believe that this film was even nominated, let alone beat Dead Poet Society and Born on the 4th of July and My Left Foot and Field of Dreams. And this is your big kahuna? Are you kidding me? This is one of the most insincere, horrible, boring, ridiculous movies I've ever seen take an Oscar. It's such an unearned friendship. It's just, you work for me and we're friends, but you still can't do anything I do, and I'm not inviting you anywhere. And by the way, like, oh God, it was infuriating. 25
Nonsense.
years pass by, but you don't really fucking notice. They come close to addressing like racial tensions, but they never do anything with it, ever.
Yeah.
It's like they're too scared to step into that world, despite the setup they've already put into this movie. I don't understand why everyone fell over for this. I don't. I hate this movie.
Yeah, me too. I love that we are both trying our hardest to kind of watch everything for our Oscar Sunday show to kind of to just have an opinion. And Dead Poet Society is a very special film to both of us, and Do the Right Thing is something that we talked about recently on our Defy Bloods episode on Oscar Sunday, and how good that movie is, and that it wasn't even up for Best Picture. It's just so absurd when you look back at some of these, and that's partly why we wanted to do the show, right? Is to just kind of have that conversation and open it up and reevaluate different films from different decades. So yeah, that's not necessarily, I'm not, obviously not saying spotlight this movie because it was good. I found it funny that you watched it for the first time and I was trying to rewatch it and I just couldn't.
Well, I feel, for Oscar Sunday, it's best if we watch the winner at the very least, because how are we going to know why this film lost unless we see why the other film won? I don't fucking get why it won at all. So, I mean, Dead Poet Society is a movie that moved me substantially and is such an original, well-made film about loss of innocence and coming of age. And then you've got Driving Miss Daisy, which is about Morgan Freeman getting hired by a slightly less racist, like Georgia family to drive around grandma for 25 years. And really?
Yeah. And Do the Right Thing, which is a monumental, piece of art.
And Born on the 4th of July, which is a brilliant anti-war biopic.
Yeah. My Left Foot. Yeah, fuck it. The Burbs is way better. Way better than Driving Miss Daisy. Get the hell out of here.
I will watch The Burbs
shit
any second of the day. And I will never watch this again.
Indiana Jones. Right?
Last Crusade, yeah. Straight up.
Batman. When Harry Met Sally. I don't give a shit. Give it to any of those movies, just not that piece of shit. Yeah, it's just frustrating. That's one of the 5 worst calls they've ever made.
I'd say it's their worst call that I've seen.
I think so. I just haven't seen everything.
I haven't seen Crash yet, so I can't judge that yet.
Yeah. Well, it's often put in that white savior, white guilt, that whole tier, along with Crash, right? So yeah, it's definitely in that group. I think there's some that I haven't seen yet that I'm not gonna like.
I hate when a movie like Driving Miss Daisy has that "we're not so different, you and I" moment, but it's completely unearned and does nothing for the story.
No, I can't. I can't. You can't do that. No one can do that, right? No, because that's throwing stuff like under the table, like, oh, okay, but we're good, right? Like, dude, and when a Peter Farrelly says, like, when he gets his fucking Golden Globe and his Oscar, and he's just like, we can fix this. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? Bring some tangible solutions to. If you're talking about racial equality, come on, man. Like, your movie's not going to fix this shit. You need to bring tangible shit. Don't just praise yourself because you made this movie. It's frustrating.
At least Green Book went there. Like, at least it tried to do something with, like, you know, showcasing the racial tensions. Driving Miss Daisy drove right up to the edge of that and then backed away.
Yeah, in Green Book, yeah, I think that's unfair. I don't think it's right to put it in the group of like that. It definitely has some tropes that are similar, but I mean, come on, at the heart of it, you do really have two actors working some magic at times. And for that, I recommend watching Green Book just for that. But I don't think it's the story that people need to see, or that it's going to change them or totally enlighten them. I really think the way I felt when I walked out of Green Book was like, okay, cool, like on to the next.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was fine, you know, and I moved on. But Driving Miss Daisy is not a move on movie. There's a reason it started this whole discussion. It really is so divisive that it won, and ultimately frustrating. Yeah.
Extremely. And yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be one of those movies that's forever known as a Best Picture winner. So it's always going to be part of the conversation. It's always going to be part of that legacy. And I don't like that at all. It does not deserve any of that praise.
Well, the year after, they kind of fucked up too. So
at least Dances with Wolves is it's better. There's a story there. It's just really hard to fucking find.
That I don't like that one either. Yeah, and that one, that's a whole.
But you know what? They got it right the year after.
There you go. Yes, 100%. Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, well, you know, hey, if you like this kind of talk, definitely check out our Oscar Sunday, because this is really all we do is have these kinds of discussions.
Yeah.
And Dead Poets, we're just going to do it a little bit more. We're really going to dive into 1989. So, do you have anything positive that you watched?
No. My spotlight is also a movie I didn't like.
Let's hear it.
All right, this is going to divide some people because this is considered a sci-fi classic to a lot of people.
Uh-oh.
I did not enjoy Total Recall.
Oh, my God. It's not just me.
I knew it. All right, so.
Okay, well, I feel like this is one of the films I've never been able to be honest about. All right, yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. The CGI hasn't aged well at all. The story is nonsensical. The dialogue is fucking ridiculous. Like, I'll be home in time for cornflakes. Are you kidding me? Like, oh, yeah. I thought it was terrible.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. I hadn't read your review for it. I see you gave it a 6. Yeah, yes. I feel the same way. I might even go lower. I watched this, and it was one of those where I was like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't tell people how I really feel about this, because maybe I'm the one who's wrong. You know, maybe I'm stupid. But no, it's good to hear. I haven't seen it in a few years, but it's good to hear that you didn't like it either.
I'm a massive Schwarzenegger fan. I was really looking forward to seeing this for the first time. Predator is one of my favorite movies. I love the Terminator franchise. I love Kindergarten Cop, Jingle All the Way. I love the dude. And this movie was terrible. It's just weak and pointless. And yeah, it's bad. I have nothing more to say, really. It's a bad movie.
You heard it here first. Total Recall is not a good movie.
And it is in the book. So one day we will do Total Recall, and we will give it the full episode treatment, but I will not be going in with a positive mindset.
That could get quite divisive, as I see Caleb wrote a review in 2015 and gave it a 9.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Oh boy. I hope we draw it and he can be a part of that.
Oh, yes. Love a good. I can't wait for the inevitable dialogue we get when Caleb joins the show.
Yes,
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
at first
it'll be good
probably
stuff.
Gonna get very annoying really quickly, because that's how our conversations work. I don't like a certain horror movie. He loves it, and then it's just clash for an hour. It's awesome.
And I'll be Saul Goodman trying to make things work. Okay, yeah.
Speaking of, did you see the Emmy nominations came out today?
I did. I would say my favorite thing, before we talk about Better Call Saul, my favorite thing would be that Zendaya for Euphoria was nominated. That's fantastic. I hope she wins.
Nice. My favorite thing was that The Mandalorian got nominated for Best Drama.
Yeah. How about that? And a bunch of nominations altogether.
Yeah. Way to go. Giancarlo Esposito's up for 2 Emmys for Mandalorian and Better Call Saul. He's the only cast member who was nominated from Better Call Saul. I can't believe that.
Yeah, so that's what we need to talk about. So what the fuck's up with that? Have I missed some legendary television series where people are blowing everybody's mind? Because Better Call Saul is, come on, like, what are we doing here? Odenkirk is doing crazy stuff on that show. I can't believe that.
Yeah, especially since the giant campaign for Rhea Seehorn to finally get an Emmy nomination. Nothing happened from that.
What does she have to do? Were people watching those last couple episodes when she's doing some of the best acting in any of Vince Gilligan's universe? Come on. I don't like that. I don't like when a show that clearly has a awesome audience and a serious, like, cult following behind it and is gaining more steam because more people are like, oh, this is actually as good as Breaking Bad. And it's on the same level.
Better Call Saul has never gotten the same award recognition that Breaking Bad has, despite being just as good.
It's bullshit.
It is. It's annoying. It's very annoying.
It's fucking dumb because really, when you're watching it, you're literally in the same world. The style, the way Vince Gilligan is capturing everything, the way even he makes New Mexico look at sometimes is like, oh my God, I'm still in Breaking Bad. The font of the credits, it's like he didn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
we never left.
You're still there, but because I think this is a big part of that whole thing, I have no problem admitting that Better Call Saul is on the same plateau. That Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are both incredible television series.
Yeah.
Now Better Call Saul has to wrap it up really well to match Breaking Bad's ending because that was a masterful ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I hear too many people who have just disregarded, like, oh, I feel like I've seen that story, or I feel like I've been in that world. But you love it, so what are you talking about?
Why wouldn't you want to come back?
Yeah, and with TV, when it's so hit or miss, and you're going into these series watching 10 hours of television, but why would you not go with something that you know you're gonna like? It makes it. Maybe I'm the dumb one. I don't know. I feel like Better Call Saul deserves to be in the same light as Breaking Bad. I feel like it's all under one umbrella. El Camino is the only thing that doesn't work.
El Camino has gotten better for me with repeated viewings.
I wish I could say the same.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Fair enough. That's also up for best TV movie, which is kind of cool. But yeah. I think Better Call Saul, for me, the best thing about it is that Vince Gilligan is putting the same care and effort that he put into Breaking Bad into this show. He's making sure the characters pop just as great, that everything makes sense, everything ties up well, and the ending is building towards just a great, soft ending, I think. It's not going to be the explosive Breaking Bad finale. It's going to be everyone is where they should be when Breaking Bad starts, which is going to be great. And then we are also going to get payoff for the Gene Cinnabon story. So I am nothing but excited. I'm not worried. I'm looking forward to a nice, exciting, reliable, awesome TV show ending, which is nice because we don't ever fucking get that anymore.
Yeah, it's few and far between, my man. I think Vince Gilligan has gotten better at certain aspects of his craft, and I think you can look at stuff that's pretty easy, like you point out, Seahorn. He did not write, in my opinion. Skylar's a good character, Marie's a good character. You got Jane in there, but none of those are strong characters.
Yeah.
Kim at some points, Kim's running the show. Kim is the episode.
Yeah,
and that's awesome. That's a female character. That means you can have people who maybe didn't watch Breaking Bad who are female who are like, oh, there's just not a lot of representation. Bam, you got Kim right there who's just fucking killing it. One of the coolest characters in the whole universe. And you also have, I think he's gotten better at writing for the characters that are either from Mexico or part of the cartel. He's just gotten better at writing for more diversity, for more diverse characters, not just the Bob Odenkirks and the Bryan Cranstons. He's better at writing for everybody. And I really believe that. When I'm watching Better Call Saul, I'm like, man, this guy has somehow gotten better at his craft. And I think that's what it is. I think ultimately, for me as a fan, he's just gotten better at writing for each character, not just the the Jesse and the Walt. It's all of the characters. It's truly special what he's doing.
Well, and the new characters are just as interesting and exciting as the character we've come to love. Like take Lalo Salamanca, for instance. He's a character. He's a character that came out of a single line in Breaking Bad. There was no plan for this guy, but he grew into this show and has become one of the most fearsome, intimidating, unpredictable psychopaths on TV right now.
Yes, dude. That's the character I'm talking about. Is fucking Lalo, man. Like he got better at correct me if I'm wrong, but the writing in Better Call Saul for Lalo is better than any of the writing for, aside from maybe Gus, any of the writing for the bad guys in Breaking Bad, right? I mean, Lalo is...
I say yes for everybody except for Hector. I think Hector's written extremely well in Breaking Bad.
That's fair. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Awesome. I love this conversation.
I can talk about Albuquerque all day. It's one of my 5 favorite. And if you want to combine the two, it's like one of my 5 favorite like series worlds, ever. I'm
gonna be sad to leave. Like with this final upcoming season, I'm gonna be sad to say goodbye to this universe.
Oh, he'll figure it out. We'll keep this train rolling.
Oh, the rewatches will never end. I'm gonna get the Better Call Saul collection. It's gonna go right next to my Breaking Bad collection, and I'm gonna rewatch fucking constantly.
I still want my Mike Ehrmantraut Philadelphia prequel, so I'm holding out for that.
Right on. Oh man. Well, next week we go back into the world of Stephen King, a man with no shortage of weird movies made from his work, and this is certainly one of the weirder ones. What happens when an industrial laundry machine gets possessed by a demon and starts to murder people? Find out next week when we dive into Tobe Hooper's The Mangler, starring Robert Englund and Ted Levine. It's a pretty reviled movie that will be a first-time watch for both of us, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you want something a bit more serious, we will be reviewing Dead Poet Society on our Oscar Sunday podcast this Sunday. Thanks for listening. Don't abandon any kids to hordes of zombies, and we will see you next Wednesday.